Well, we're here in the STOL CH 701, and that's the original Sky Jeep. This is the airplane that you built, Roger. Tell us a little bit about the airplane again.
Yeah, it's a 701. We've got originally it had the 80 horse Rotax, and then Rotax came out with the 100 horse, so we installed the 100 horse after about 1,300 hours, and the 80 horse worked just fine. Then we went to 100, and I'd never go back. Almost on anything you go bigger, and so we've upgraded. We got the new streamlined struts, gained about 8 to 10 miles an hour.
Right.
We got the new cube flap extender,
right.
4-position, which really is nice as an option. Besides that, everything else is pretty much stock. Basic instrument panel, radio and transponder, and that's it.
We're doing a run-up now.
Yeah, we're going to run it up to 4,000, check each ignition. Left to both, right, left. Rolls clear and free. Then we're going to lower the flaps to about the 3rd setting. And everything looks good. So what we're going to do is we're just going to play around, do some takeoff and landings, and just, it's a good day, just go out and play around, and beautiful day. That's what the 701 is for, is not really, point A to point B, or just flying 2,000 or 3,000 feet. It's just playing around the local airport, takeoff and landings.
All right.
We got a little bit of crosswind. It's about 40, 50 degrees, and it's about 8, 9 knots, so Mexico traffic. Experimental is going to be departing runway 18, staying in the pattern, Mexico. So what I like to do is have the stick all the way back, and brakes, power, release, nose comes up, now we're full, almost full fuel, both of us, and it is cool, but it's not, nothing, extreme, no heavy winds or anything.
But definitely a crosswind, but, as soon as you had that nose off the ground, we were pretty much flying, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to fly this airplane, see how responsive it is.
It is.
And and I remember back in the 80s, well, I sort of remember, but especially talking to my dad about it and so forth, but Chris Hines, the designer, my dad, he designed this airplane kind of, in the 80s, the ultralights were very popular, and he kind of designed it with the, the same capabilities of an ultralight, which is basically, take off and land very short, off airport environment. Yet, as we can see, this is a real airplane, we're all metal, enclosed. We're in the winter day here. It's like in the 30s outside, but we're still able to fly. And again, you're still got an airplane that you're cruising nearly 100 miles an hour. But again, an extremely short capability. Okay, let's walk us in there.
So base to final, I brought the nose up, bled off the airspeed, lowered the flaps a little bit, and going to go all the way down with the flaps, full flaps on final. And now I'm just, if you want an airspeed, it's in the 50s, and then when you're on very, very short final or getting ready to flare, you're probably down in the mid-40s, and you're adding a little bit of power to keep that sink rate from sinking too fast. Now that's extreme STOL, if you want that, but you can do a normal landing too, just to learn the airplane. But right now we're about 50. And I'm going to start bringing the nose up, so I'm going to start bringing in power, too, at the same time.
Yeah,
power,
35.
Now, look at that, just hanging on the prop, on the prop.
And indicating in the low 30s, wheels touch down, probably under 30, yeah.
Watch this, we can lift off and just be flying down the runway. You don't want to do that unless you're experienced, because you can't see, really. The nose is way up.
And we got a nice crosswind, actually.
Yeah, they're just working it down.
You're doing a really good job with that.
Just walking it, and just go around.
That's amazing, and again, we're two on board, and I'm not lightweight like I used to be either,
I wasn't going to say anything.
And we're basically at gross weight here, or probably maybe a little bit under, but again, very, very maneuverable little airplane, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
And it's kind of fun to see because the last year or two, the popularity of the STOL CH 701 continues to increase, and I think that goes in line with a lot of folks really wanting to do backcountry flying, short takeoff and landing. We see the competitions are popular.
Right.
This Saturday, our New Zealand friends are going to be flying their national STOL competition up there. They always do really well on there.
Right.
You're cutting this a really short base leg, aren't you?
Oh, base to final.
Gotta love it.
And you can feel the turbulence on the fuselage. We're putting a lot of...
Yeah, as soon as you get a little bit out of coordination and slipstream, you really hear it on this airplane, which is a nice indicator, isn't it?
Yep. then we're going to land a little long. We're going to be right here in the front of the airport here.
But we're indicating now we're already under 50 miles an hour, and this is miles an hour, so.
And nothing we're doing is really, very high skill to do this. This is just all,
That said, it does take a lot of practice. It's like anything else. Practice makes perfect.
Right.
The nice thing is, because of the low speeds involved, it's
traffic, Cessna 13140, taxiing for runway 18, Mexico.
Hey, Mexico traffic, Spremo 71, turning left downwind for runway right. I'll keep an eye out for you.
Experimental, Cessna 13140. I'll be back taxiing here in a minute.
Yeah, I got you in sight, no factor.
Again, that's the nice thing with this type of airplane. You're getting extreme stall, but you can still fly the pattern.
Experimental, Cessna 13140.
Still fly the pattern and keep up with everybody else in the pattern and so forth. You're still a real airplane.
What I like to set it up is I'm rotating my wrist on my leg, so I'm not over controlling it.
Yeah, that's an easy way to do it, isn't it?
Yep. As there's a lot of customers are putting in different engines too. The Rotax, in my opinion, it works the best. Most hours I have is with the Rotax, but John Humber's got the UL Power 130. It probably works very well. Vikings are doing,
Mexico traffic, Cessna 13140. I'll be doing my run up.
Hey, Mexico traffic, Sprimo's on final 18, and I'll keep an eye out for you. Let me know when you're ready. Alright, so we're
Cessna 13140.
We're on final. We're going to go ahead and slow it down, add a little bit of flaps.
That's the nice thing about this airplane, high lift. Once you pull back, it slows right down, doesn't it?
Yep.
Nice steep approach. Beautiful day.
Okay, we'll see over here in the grass.
Under 100 miles an hour approach here.
Yeah, I got a little sink right there.
Yeah. Nice.
And we'll turn around and let him.
Again, because of the low landing speeds and so forth, even a relatively rough grass field, and this is, I would say, definitely not a sawed field.
Right.
But even then, you don't feel the bumps near as much. But bigger tires and low speeds, it's so much nicer.
Oh. And Cessna, whenever you're ready, I'll just wait for you before I take off again.
All right, Cessna 13140, ready for takeoff, runway 18, Mexico.
And we were talking about engines just a minute ago. The thing with the 701, the Rotax 912 is just a perfect mix of power, weight, everything else, which is why there are alternative engines, but it's hard to beat the actual 100 horse Rotax.
Yeah, Mexico traffic, Sprimo 701 is going to be departing 18, staying in the pattern for Mexico traffic in sight.
So start with the stick all the way back, pull in the power, nose comes up.
Mexico traffic, Cessna 13140, departing to the northwest for St. Joe, Missouri, with a right turnout, Mexico.
That takeoff took a little bit longer, you could tell, because again, that grass field's a little bit bumpier than at least I was expecting, but...
And it's wet, too.
Yeah.
My tires are wet.
Good point.
Tall grass.
Yep. But when I say longer, it was like 150 feet instead of 100 feet.
Right.
Still short, extremely short, really. And again, the visibility in the 701, you know, as soon as you drop that wing, I could see over the top of the wing so nicely there. Love that. And, you know, quite frankly, the two of us, we're about, I'd say, pretty typical average guys, and, you know, we still have a lot of room in here, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not even touching the shoulder.
Exactly. Because, you know, when I compare it to our 750 and 650, I always find the 701 is really tight, but it's really relative measure. And, of course, we got the bubble doors in this, real nice.
Let's see how short we can land it in between on the grass over there. Right?
Yeah. Where we're standing right here, it looks pretty darn short.
Air goes in your face. And
yeah. Again, we're now in the low 40s indicated, so really slow. Well, it's a short roll because we floated there quite a bit.
We did. Yeah.
But you managed to land it very well.
Yeah.
And what's that? A couple hundred feet of grass?
Probably.
There?
Yep.
And we floated probably the first third, no problem, and then our actual landing roll was nice and short.
Exactly.
And then again, the nice thing is because you maintained your speed so well, if you were coming in at 60 miles an hour, that would have been very hard to do.
Right.
But because you were, from just glancing at the SI, 45.
Let's give a reference to the camera right here at the line. And we don't have the prop set up for maximum performance. There's a lot of things we haven't done. This is just
nice day to go flying.
I didn't want to lift up there for a minute. Like, come on. All right, we'll do one more and we'll just call it quits, unless you just want to see or do anything else.
No, it's just a fabulous little day to go flying, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Man, I just don't fly the 701 like I used to because we're always flying the 750s and Super Duties.
Well, you're still a master at it. Especially again today, we got a good little crosswind, which it's not that difficult, but it just adds another complexity and something else to think about it.
Right.
And I can tell the way you're flying, you just automatically compensate for it without even having to think about it.
Yep. Main thing I think in the 701 guys, that just don't get used to it is like on other airplanes, is you always want to be ready to add a little bit of power. And all you need is just a little bit.
Yep.
We'll do it again on the grass and then we'll call it quits. And the one way you can land short too is maintain a little higher approach like I'm doing and develop that sink rate instead of coming in flat. And you can control that speed a lot better than coming in flat like I see some guys.
Right. Because if you're coming too flat, any forward you got the power, you're going to start losing altitude.
Right, and then you're going to have forward speed instead of speed up and down.
Exactly. All right, see here, we've got a good little crosswind. Nice. That was a nicer...
if I did about a half a dozen times, I'd have it down pat.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly it, It does take practice. It's not difficult, but to do it precisely, consistently, and then again, every time you go flying, your wind's going to be a little different, temperature's going to be a little different, weights are going to be a little bit different, and that's where you have, by getting that muscle memory developed, you're compensating automatically for those different.
I have no idea the speed I was coming in. That's right. Muscle memory.
Yep. No, and that's where practice comes in. And again, it's not difficult because again the low speed's involved, but it is still muscle memory. And there's so many different variables going on, and that's where if you don't have that muscle memory, it's hard to consistently do well in these STOL competitions.
Yep.
Because when I watch these expert pilots, again, it doesn't matter what the conditions are. They know their airplanes so well, and that they can compensate.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.